So our topic is the transition of the agency trading desk and all that that means. And listen, that starts with the word programmatic, and you referenced it. And one of the things that we were talking about is how you think about that and define that, and how that defines your role. When we work with a lot of our clients, we talk about the fact that programmatic isn't a thing, but instead it's an approach. It's an idea and a concept that brings technology and data more to the front and center of media and marketing. And when we were talking about that, you really talked about your role as being one that helps to upgrade the tool set of the agencies. Can you maybe dig into that, and is that connected to this theme that it's an approach versus an
Sure.
it, if you will?
Sure, yeah, absolutely. So I think first of all, there's a misconception in the space that suddenly data is available to optimize campaigns or whatever it might be. And the reality is, agencies have been using data to optimize the media mix for their marketers' objectives for decades, right? Long before the proliferation of programmatic tool sets. So I think it's important to define what programmatic actually is. Marissa Mayer, CEO of Yahoo, said the opposite of programmatic is not premium, it's manual. And the implication there is that programmatic represents sort of end-to-end automation. Like there's sort of a magic button that you press and you solve all of advertising's problems. And of course we completely disagree. But programmatic to us is really, it's an upgrade to the buyer's tool set. We think about programmatic so we used to use Microsoft Outlook. Now we use a demand-side platform. We used to send an insertion order to a publisher for a fixed period of time for a certain amount of budget and say, please, Mr. Publisher, will you optimize on our behalf? Now we use a DSP and we set algorithmic rules to filter out inventory that we don't think will perform for our clients and optimize towards the inventory and the audiences that will hit their objectives. So the strategy hasn't changed. We still leverage data, scale, negotiations, to deliver the best performance, but really this is an upgrade to the tool set. So I think in contrast to the buzz that you hear in the industry about programmatic being this sort of media revolution, really what I would say it is more of an evolution of the buyer's tool set.
Okay. So there's a lot there, though, to change or evolve the way that media buyers and planners have traditionally done their work. Data sets are more complex, more granular, new technology tools, as you referenced. So as you were out and about and doing your job of upgrading the tool set, there's a lot of component parts to that. Part education, I'm sure part evangelism. What's key to being successful in spreading this gospel, if you will, that there is an involved way to transact? How are you making that case?
Sure. I mean, we completely adopt and evangelize the most advanced concepts of programmatic buying, which really center around audience and the concept of audience architecture. And so at GroupM, we've even built a distinct discipline around that practice. And so really helping our marketers understand exactly how their audience translates from what they might be used to into a programmatically activatable world takes up a lot of our work, and it's a lot of the skill set that our employees have and are growing.
Okay. So specifically then about the trading desk, it seems to me that the core idea of or the core discussion about the trading desk concept, the agency trading desk idea, is the argument of specialization versus more integration. And you often see in agencies the need, and really in all businesses, the need to separate to innovate, right? To incubate new ideas. That trading desks seem to have been born out of the need to incubate this new tool set to prove that it was valuable as a way to then distribute it to the agency at large and to really disseminate it and maybe somewhat start to get rid of that centralization. I guess the question being then, do you agree that that's kind of the curve we're on, or that's the path and the mission? And then where do you think we are on that path if you agree that's the journey that's happening?
Well, I think it's important to sort of define what a trading desk is, right? I mean, I think what you're seeing in the ecosystem now are that agencies are adopting programmatic as a tool set. So let's keep this in the context of what I just described, right? Programmatic as a tool set. The agencies are adopting that to deliver the best possible optimization service for their clients and their marketers' objectives. At the same time, you have media publishers and media technology companies that are still selling media products, right? And so I think that what we're seeing here is that concept, the clarification of the optimization service and the products that are being offered in the marketplace.
Okay. So the idea of a trading desk is kind of, it's irrelevant. This label doesn't mean anything?
The agencies are simply upgrading the tools that they have at their disposal, so that model doesn't change. And in fact, the marketer has never needed an agency more, right? They need someone working on their behalf in this complex, ever-changing ecosystem to really optimize towards their objectives, as opposed to a publisher optimizing to their own objectives.
Yeah. So to that point, you don't obviously consider yourself running a trading desk?
I think the terminology is thrown around and sort of ubiquitous, but yeah. We're enabling the agencies to use the programmatic tool set to optimize media.
Okay. So if in that world 1.0 of this programmatic world has been about open marketplaces, generally making long tail inventory more valuable, using data to find the diamonds in the rough, if you will, it seems that version 2.0 of this will be applying many of those same concepts, applying it with publishers that you work with on a more guaranteed and upfront basis. My sense, though, is that again is another journey and destination that's a little bit out there. Are you seeing that? Are you turning the corner? Are your agencies and client teams understanding that potential, or is this still about buying open marketplace inventory, to cherry pick impressions?
No, I think it's interesting. I think programmatic 1.0 was predicated on this need for efficiency in the digital buying space. The unfortunate part of that was number one, the trade-off, the requisite trade-off of efficiency for sacrifice in efficacy, right? And then also the over-reliance on a sole publisher or technology provider to perform these tasks within their own ecosystem. So I think that was 1.0, and then as now we're in programmatic 2.0, I would say really the pendulum has swung back towards efficacy. And so now we're seeing major adoptions of accountability tactics across the space, across some of the largest players in the space. And we're also at GroupM, we're leveraging a meta DSP approach that allows us to mitigate that reliance on a sole publisher and that ecosystem, and actually enables us to pit multiple suppliers against each other to deliver the best possible performance for the marketer's KPIs. 2.0 is also really, as you mentioned, it's really centered around more premium, better quality, a more advanced opportunity to impact a consumer that you really didn't have in 1.0. And I think we won't see it truly scale until some of the issues that are plaguing the real-time bidding ad exchanges, like non-viewable and non-human traffic, until those exchanges are cleaned up of those problems, I don't think you're going to see marketers and agencies go completely all in.
Yeah. But you are describing, again, there's so many skill sets that are new to the agency that you are responsible for building. And I get the notion that there is no such thing at a trading desk, and agree, having sat in those shoes before, but clearly there needs to be a team of specialists, and you are sitting on top of that team that stays current with these topics. So without a P&L, let's say, or out that business unit, how do you make sure that you have the team you need to continue this evolution and this investment?
Well, at GroupM, we've been training and sort of fostering that talent for quite some time. Whether it's audience architecture, the audience architecture discipline, or simply how do we evolve our optimization routine to take into consideration the newest technology, the newest supply sources, whatever it might be. So that process is recurring, and it's constantly refined and ongoing. But yeah, there's definitely a challenge with scarcity of talent in the industry, and so we need to emphasize the cultivation of that programmatic skill set, and that's what we're doing.
Okay, so we got time for one last question. Those that spend a lot of time around me know that I like to refer to the P word, i.e. programmatic. And I believe that there'll come a time when we won't talk about programmatic. The word will mean less as we've adopted to the natural course of data and technology influencing all that we do, and it will just be part of the media buying process. How far away is the guy that's charged with helping make sure the agencies that you are part of, continue that evolution? How many years before you think the word programmatic is not something we talk about regularly?
Yeah, I don't think we're very far off. Like I said, I mean, we see it as an upgrade to the tool set. We're moving in that direction. I think that focus on accountability is absolutely critical. We're never gonna go all in with that requisite sacrifice of the efficacy that we need and the accountability in media. But I do think we're close, and I think it's definitely a near timeline. And as we see more inventory become digital and programmatic, we feel that anything that can be bought programmatically will ultimately be bought programmatically. So I wouldn't say very long. I won't give you a timeline.
All right, fair enough.